So Carrie opens up. She says, the women of New York are the most beautiful in the world. Mm-hmm. The men spend all day looking at us. Mm-hmm. I do think New York has very beautiful women.
I think so too. We're pretty damn fabulous.
Yeah. I think it's not even just the looks within itself, but the fact that women in New York have such individual style, confidence, a lot of bad bitches walking around.
Yeah.
Energy. Mm-hmm. And then also a lot of beautifully aged women.
So yeah.
Aged gracefully.
Yeah.
Also probably getting some work done, but don't look crazy the way they do in other cities.
I think we have some of the best work in
probably some of the best doctors.
We have some of the, as far as face and aging goes.
Yes.
New York and London have some of the best.
Yes, we're gracefully aging over here.
And we don't overdo it. We're not over, and we don't have, how LA has a face. We don't really have New York doesn't have a face. Individuality is really currency here.
Yes.
And so in order to really be a bad bitch, you can't look like everybody else.
Well, you can't look like nobody. Yeah, that's true. So true. So anyways, shout out to New York. Anyways, then we see Big and Carrie strolling down the street. I love this little floral
dress
she had on.
God. Patricia went off.
Yeah, she went off. That was a great one. And Carrie says she's happy with Big, but he's still checking out other women. And she sees him kind of looking at girls walking, past them on the street. So Carrie and Samantha, they meet up in the park. They're going for a little walk. Carrie's really bothered by Big checking out these other women. And Samantha's like, men are wired this way. Can't change them.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Carrie's like, well, I think you can still subtly manipulate them in ways, right? And Samantha's like, no, the most you can do is change a man's wardrobe. That's it.
And even then, that's a constant.
Yeah, stay on top of that, right?
Yep.
Ain't gonna change fully. Now, Miranda, meanwhile, she's got a new lease on life, right? New apartment. She got a new boyfriend. She's got a lot going on. We see her napping on the couch when Steve comes by after work, just late night because he works at the bar. And, he's rubbing her feet and he's ready to hang. And she just knocks out on the couch. So for Miranda, everything is going great with Steve, except they have completely opposite schedules.
Yeah.
She's a morning person. She got to be up at the firm by 8 o'clock. He works nights, so he can just lay in bed all morning. And so that's getting to her. They're just not on the same time clock, I guess.
Yeah. And she has to reprioritize her whole life when he's just this is when I get off work.
Right. I'm here now.
This is when I'm horny in the morning.
Now, across town, Charlotte is making out with a new restaurant critic that she's dating when she discovers he has an uncircumcised penis.
Whoa. I have all 5 of the W questions. Who, what, when, where, why?
Friend, I couldn't help but wonder.
Oh. What?
Thoughts, experiences, first time you saw, have you ever seen an uncircumcised penis? Never seen one.
Never.
Wow, good for you.
I know, but I've never seen a white penis either. I've just never,
Are there no black uncircumcised penis?
No. That's not the case. No. Oh. But I'm just saying I haven't checked a whole lot of boxes.
A lot of different types.
A lot of different types of penises.
Okay.
I haven't really done a whole lot.
I've seen one uncircumcised in my life.
Oh my God, was this so scary?
Yes. Indeed it was.
Dicks are scary anyway, bro.
I was about to say, in general, a penis is just an odd looking appendage.
Yeah.
Uncircumcised, it looks otherworldly. You just look at it, you're like, this is not supposed to look like that. No shade, no judgment, but
it is. It actually is.
Yeah. It just, as people say, it looks like a turtleneck of skin. Nothing about is cute. Now,
to think that's how they're designed is crazy.
I know, that's how they came out. That's how it's supposed to apparently look. But yeah, Charlotte is turned off like I was. She's like, I care about aesthetics. I can't look at this. I love Charlotte. She was just it's a hard pass.
Yeah.
Samantha, of course, is like, whatever. It only matters how it's used. She don't care. And then Carrie said allegedly, which I don't think this is true, 85% of men are uncircumcised.
I think most of them are, though. Yeah, in the world.
Most are in the world. Okay.
In America, it's like reverse.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Because then you're bringing in culture, religion for the whole world. I could see. Okay.
Yeah.
But I was like 85%. That don't even sound right. Now, Carrie and Big, we see her out to dinner. Big lights up a cigar in the middle of the restaurant.
Excuse me, you can't smoke that in here.
Really? You're absolutely positively sure about that?
Number one. Red flag number one. We got 3 that were allowed for this dinner. We got red flag number 1. You're lighting up a cigar in the fucking restaurant.
And he's just so arrogant. That's what Carrie called him. He's so
arrogant.
He just knows in this non-smoking restaurant, he's going to smoke the cigar.
And non-smoking just started, right? It's like 2001.
Right.
Right? So we're like just starting to be like, no, nicotine bad, truth.com or whatever. Like we're starting this conversation now. And here he go lighting up a cigar. Not even a cigarette, a cigar.
A cigar.
Inside? Eating dinner?
That's the dominant smell of the whole place now, right? Now it's in my food. So he goes around the restaurant. The waitress is like, the same waitress he's been checking out all night, mind you.
Flag number 2.
Flag number 2. He's, going around to all the different patrons. Do you mind if I smoke? Do you mind if I smoke? Like charming all the women who are like, no, it's fine. So he's smoking up a cigar. Carrie literally calls him arrogant. He's like, well, I thought that's why you liked me. So now
strike number 3.
You're done already.
I'm done. I've dated a peacock like this before, and it is so aggravating how they think they can get away with everything because they're charming, because they're handsome, because they went to school. If they got all 3 of those and they got a job, girl's over. They think they can do whatever they want. So they're walking home, and a woman goes walking by, and he turns around,
body around, not even just his head, his whole head,
whole body. She was talking, and he turned his whole body around.
Just OD, just way over the top.
Just so disrespectful. Oh my God.
So she snaps at him, but in true Carrie form, she keeps it to herself. She doesn't tell him why exactly. She's like, I just hate you smoking this cigar. Now she's home later just thinking about how hard it is to change Big and whether she's the one that's going to have to change her expectations.
Yeah.
Or if you can actually change a man. Now Charlotte, we see, is back on another date with homeboy. He asks her to go upstairs, and she's like, he already knew what time it was. He's like, I've been here my whole life. Like, women are getting, they get freaked out by my penis. And he tells her he's actually going to get circumcised now.
Yeah.
Which just sounds so painful.
That sounds crazy. Yeah, I wouldn't.
That sounds like a major surgery.
I think it is.
Right?
At this point, yeah. Once you can have memory, it's over. Girl, don't even bother. And don't even bother.
And don't even bother at that point. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. You want to talk about OnlyFans? There's a niche for that. Yeah.
That's an adult circumcision. Ooh, good luck.
I'm getting circumcised.
Can you do that?
So, he tells Charlotte this, and she's all excited. She's like, oh, I'll wait for you. And they're going to be.
She's trying to make it romantic. Charlotte. He's waiting for me. I'm waiting for him. Oh my gosh. She always wants somebody to wait and long.
Always. She loves a yearning.
She loves yearning.
She loves a yearning little moment. My God. Now, the next morning, it's Saturday morning. Miranda and Steve are having morning sex. And she's like, all right, trying to get going. Get her Saturday, go routine. To the farmer's market, her routine. And he's like, let's cuddle. Come on, let's hang out. And she's like, gotta go. Just totally 2 different ways, lifestyles even, just totally different. And he decides, she somehow manages to convince her to stay. You could see the whole time she's just like, ugh.
My feminism is dying.
Now the ladies head to drag bingo. I loved Miranda's look for this.
It was cute. She's getting cuter.
She's getting cute. I love the little scarf around the neck, little situations, giving 1960s. And then her hair looks great. And I do love Miranda in a hoop. She looks cute with that haircut.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So anyway, she's complaining about this morning routine. You know, she hates cuddling. Steve has no urgency in the mornings, and she's like, I got places to be. Carrie, meanwhile, she's just jealous because Big won't even stay the night at her place.
Girl, why'd you bring that up? Why'd you say that out loud? Why'd you say that in public? Why'd you say that at the drag bar? Like,
embarrassing.
That is so embarrassing. She has no shame when it comes to this nigga, yo.
She really doesn't. And also, doesn't she see, like, Steve has been in the picture for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And is already basically got a key, is hanging out at the house all the time. And Big has not even stayed the night at your place. And it's been over a year.
Old boy's getting full-blown surgery for Charlotte.
Yeah. Yes.
He's not even, he lasts this 1 episode and vanishes for good.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, he's the worst.
He's the worst. So Miranda, she's up in arms because she's just upset. She's like, I have to change my routine.
Yeah.
Why is it the woman that always has to change?
Yep. I agree.
I agree too. Charlotte, of course, is like, well, we're more adaptable. And you really like him. It's not going to kill you to slow down a little bit, which I also can see. Miranda is very like, maybe this is good for her to kind of like bring it on down, maybe chill out a little bit in the mornings now that you have somebody to like lay with. Yeah, so they have that whole conversation. Charlotte shares that her dude's getting circumcised for her. And then we see Samantha runs into a former hookup who is now a drag queen under the name Samantha. So that's fun.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I gotta go tell your mother. This is who he's impersonated. What the fuck?
Now, later we see Carrie meets Big at his place, and in true Big form, he shows up 30 minutes late.
And he's late to his own house. What are we doing? How did this man, like, how did he get past this episode?
I don't know. Just one.
Oh, Lord.
One thing after another.
Jesus. Oh, it's like threatening, I think, to the main character. That he's this shitty.
Terrible. Yeah. So she's in his lobby for 30 minutes pacing. The doorman fully thinks she's a hooker. And she's like pissed. And so she proposes the idea, maybe if I had a key, I could wait upstairs in your apartment. Or maybe sometimes you stay at my place. Like, can we work something out here? Gives her no
compromise.
answer.
No compromise. He hates compromise. He wants to do what he wants to do when he wants to do it.
That's it. So they head up to the apartment. That night they don't even have sex. They're just laying in bed. And while she's wide awake, obviously, like in her head, he's dead asleep, rolls over and just knocks her off the bed. Like she's not even in the bed.
So crazy.
That's nuts.
Like if we don't fuck, you don't even know I'm there.
You don't even know I'm there.
That's so wild. How
that's horrible.
far up your own ass are you?
I know. That's terrible. So she's obviously pissed because she's invisible. And this part was weird. She definitely punched him in the arm. And then he was like, oh, my nose.
I know. They couldn't get the graphics together back then. Yeah.
I was like, y'all need to reshoot that scene. But okay.
Yeah.
So he goes to sleep on the couch. Later, she comes out to apologize and just says, all the things that's bothering her. And she's like, the other night wasn't just a cigar. I hate how you look at other women. I hate that I don't have a key. I hate that you don't even see me in bed. Like, and I've been keeping all of this in. And now I'm sharing it with you. I'm annoyed.
Now I punched you in the face.
Now I punched you. But really, she's like, it's the fact that you're back in my life and we're back in each other's life, but it doesn't feel like anything has changed. Your behavior hasn't changed. Nothing is different. All he says is physical violence is never the answer.
That's it.
And that was it. Back with Charlotte. Charlotte, the uncircumcised man who is now circumcised. He's back.
Yeah.
They meet up. They have sex. Afterwards, she's like, oh, so what are you doing Saturday night? And he's like, Saturday night?
Yeah. With you.
With you? I'm in these streets, bitch. I'm out. See you. So now he's off gallivanting to his new dick. Miranda, 2 a.m. Steve comes back. She has on her lingerie. She's drunk 5 cups of coffee. She's like, God. I'm ready. We're doing it. We're going to have sex tonight so I can sleep in the morning.
Jesus.
She heads to the bedroom. He's fast asleep.
That's annoying.
Very annoying. So she wakes him up and is like, get the fuck out. I was ready to have sex now. You don't want to have it. You want to do it in the mornings. I can't do it in the mornings. Like my window is closed. Time for you to head out. So he leaves and then she's like, fuck. Now sitting here like feeling terrible. We then see a few nights later, Big comes to Carrie's apartment. It's like the second time there, maybe. Maybe. And he's just like, maybe you need a key to know that I'm crazy about you. But I've given out keys before and I never get them back.
So some bitch might walk in here. Okay. Oh my God. That's how I would read that.
Oh my God. He's like, I do hog the bed sometimes, but it is my bed.
You didn't hog shit, nigga. You rolled over me. Yo, I can't with this man. Oh my God.
The excuses.
He has no redeeming qualities. I don't understand.
No. And he doesn't own or take accountability. Like, just say, I can understand you felt invisible. Yes. When I rolled on top of you the other night. I'm really sorry for that. I have an issue with hogging the bed and I could work on that.
Yeah.
After
we were walking and you were telling me of something really important about your day. And I turned around and looked another bitch in the eye.
He don't even know he did that. She didn't call it out. So he for damn sure don't know.
Oh my God, that is so tragic.
I know.
Ooh.
But no, this is his way of apologizing, but nowhere in this is there any apology.
No.
At all.
Or compromise.
Nothing. But sure, he spends the night for the first time and she's like all excited. Cross town, we see Miranda can't sleep. Steve, so cute, calls her from a little payphone. And it's like, there's a super moon tonight. Check out the moon.
Goodbye, moon. Steve, get out of here.
And so she's all Steve and invites him over after work. They have sex all night, sex all morning. She was late for work. Carrie ends the episode with saying, maybe you can't change a man, but once in a blue moon, you can change a woman.
A man wrote that.
That was one of the worst endings to any episode. Is that fucking line right there. I hated that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's get into it. This whole question of changing men. First question I have, I want to start, before we get into the meat, this looking at other women. So this is what kicks it off for Carrie, right? She sees Big checking out this other woman, checking out every woman. Even now when they're together, they're back together now. She's like, I should be the apple of his eye. Men checking out women, is that something that they should change, you feel like, when they're in a relationship? Is that something they can even help or change? What do you think on this?
So I think people check out other people.
Yes.
All the time, right? And I think there's a way to do it that's subtle, that respects the people that you're with.
Right.
Because you could be with I bet Big does not do that when he's with his mom at church that he takes to every Sunday. I bet he doesn't do that bullshit. So you know how to do it, and you know how to do it subtly. And if you don't do it subtly because you flat out don't respect me, then that tells me a whole lot.
Yeah.
And I do have a story.
Oh, go for it, friend.
So, me and my now husband out to dinner at a burger place.
Okay.
He pays the bill. He gets up to go to the bathroom real quick. And the girl leans over to me, the waitress leans over to me and she says, girl, you got a good one, girl. He didn't even check me out all night. He didn't say nothing to me. He didn't look at me all night at all.
Okay, sis. Thanks. Give me my check. Get the fuck out of my face. What the hell? That's such a weird thing to say. So, unprompted.
It is unprompted. It was at its core something nice.
I guess,
and like girls girly, right? As someone who worked in service, I understand where she was coming from. She probably sees a lot of mess and a lot of men who don't do that, and who aren't respectful, right? But it was like, okay, let's get the fuck up out of here before she looks you up. You know. And I thought it was just interesting that that's sort of like a code between ladies in some sense, like, oh, he didn't check me out at all, so he's respectful.
He's a good
the bar
one.
is so low.
God,
the bar
is crazy.
Low as fuck, man. Low as fuck, because like, we're on a date, we're facing each other. He shouldn't be looking at anybody else. I'm not looking at anybody else. It's wild.
Yeah, I am with I agree with Samantha. I agree with you and Samantha. I do think men to an extent can't even help it. And I think generally people we appreciate beauty.
Exactly.
So it's not even just men, but you know, I check out other beautiful women, men, like anybody who looks striking, I'm like gonna look, and I can't even really help that in a sense. Now to what you're saying about respect, that's what you can help. You might not be able to control when a girl with a fat ass walks by, your eyes are going to look at it, but you can control doing it when I'm mid conversation and you're not turning your whole body around to look, you know?
Right.
Which is why Big was so ridiculous, because he turned his whole mid conversation, he turned all the way around. It's like, you should have control over that at least. Like, is this ass have you under a spell that when it goes by, you just like, like you can't like help but like gravitate towards it? I don't know. But yeah, I think that's where I stand. Like, to each their own. I know some women, it's like Carrie we see is like, this is so disrespectful. You know, you shouldn't be looking at anybody. I wouldn't take it that far, because I think that's just like an unfair expectation to place on any person. You can't help what's beautiful and what walks by and where your eyes are going to go.
And it would be the girl who's with the most trifling man to say some shit like that.
Yeah.
She would be, right?
Yeah. Like, you can't look at anybody.
No, he shouldn't be looking at anyone. He should only be looking at me. And you have brought this up to everybody at the drag bar, everybody at your office, everybody everywhere except for him.
Except for him.
Because you can't be that big and bold with him. Which is so aggravating. So annoying. It reminded me of Mario and Ramona. Remember that?
Oh my God.
Girl, he used to check out other people on camera.
Oh my God, he was terrible.
He was, and
he was good looking too. He
was good looking. He had a great
getting
job.
A lot of attention.
He got a lot of attention. He got a lot of attention from Bravo viewers, who are mostly women. He's like one of those that like he just like can't help it, right?
Right. Yeah.
And same with Wes, right? Wes is like, oh, I can't help with the Bravo fans. They want to fuck me.
Oh my God. You can though. We're not gonna pretend like you can't help yourself. Like, you're a grown human with will.
Yeah.
You have your own self-will. You can control how to do things in a respectful way.
Yeah.
If you care about somebody, you would care to do it respectfully.
Right. Yeah. And Mario ended up fucking somebody in their house and her walking in.
Oh my God. She walked in?
I think she walked in on him. I think.
Oh God, I missed that part. Yeah. It was a real young girl too that he was with, right?
Out in the Hamptons at their beach house. Yes. That part I know.
I remember that. Yeah. Yeah.
Was she walking in? I gotta rewatch. And remember. But
oh jeez. So Samantha says you can only change a man's wardrobe. What do you think?
I agree. You know what it is? I agree with you shouldn't bother with anything else. If you want to actually fundamentally change anything else and you really can't live with it, then you should just move on.
Not be with that person. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't think it's worth it.
I agree. I think if you're in the business of changing someone, I think then that's just not your person. I think that's just like what the sign is. If you want to change anything deeper beyond their wardrobe and expect a grown person to change for you, that's real hard to do, and also a little unfair, I think, to do.
I think though changing, because we do say a lot of the time that you change with your spouse and you learn from your spouse, you grow from your spouse, et cetera, right? There are things that you can change, maybe like opinions or maybe worldviews, how they view the world through like a woman's eyes versus through a man's eye. Like, you know what I mean? There's certain things that do change about you and them when you get together, right? What you can't change is if you respect me or not. That that is something that I don't want to fundamentally change. If you don't respect me, then I don't want to fuck with you.
Yeah. So my brother and I were in a deep conversation this discussion this weekend.
Tell me. He's the one rose, honestly.
He's the one rose, I know. Shout out to Dorian listening right now. So yeah, we're talking about emotional labor, mental load, the article from last week that we discussed on the pre-show.
Oh, yeah.
And I was, I kept trying to make the point about how much the workplace has changed, how much the workplace has evolved. Women are bringing home money now, right? We split expenses now. we've adapted. We've allowed men to no longer feel the sole pressure of being the provider because we now are working pretty much the same level and bringing home a check that you expect because you expect a 2-income household, right? But has the division of labor in the household changed? No. Are men now adapting to having a working wife and then also saying, okay, let's see how we can split the housework a bit so we can do our fair share now that you're also working like I am? Are we seeing any changes there? No. I think that's the biggest change on like a huge level that I would love to see. But if it's dependent on men changing, I don't think it's going to change.
No. Yeah, we just have to put action in rather than words, I think.
Yeah. And I think also, like, it's so ingrained in all of us that housework, childcare is a woman's job. And to ask a man to adapt is just preposterous because that's not their job anyways.
Because they don't adapt. Yeah.
Yeah. And also the work that you're asking them to do is fundamentally, that's your work.
Right.
You do it better, you know? And then, you know, all these made up narratives of women are biologically better at multitasking. Women are just better. You're just better at it anyways. Like all these made up narratives
Natasha,
designed.
I almost kicked the microphone in immediate gut response to you just do it better anyways. Kills me, dog.
Because it's a made up narrative designed to protect the status quo at the benefit of men. I don't just do it better anyways. There's nothing in my DNA that tells me I'm better at blah, blah, blah.
Cooking.
Right. It's
Like,
just made up.
That's made up. You know it's made up because I can name Gordon Ramsay, Bobby Flay. I can name so many
all the others.
male chefs who run the Food Network, okay? And I can name maybe Rachel Ray, who's not a mom, who famously says that her career is because she's not a mom.
Oh, interesting.
Like the top, you know what I mean? Like name the field of whatever. The top chefs are not women. You know what I mean?
Which is a whole other thing.
Which is a whole other thing. What are you talking about? I'm better at it biologically.
It's just made up. But yeah, that the whole in the household work, like that's a whole big example. But it's one where you can see where adaptability and compromise is just expected from women.
Right.
Whereas men are still given a choice. And oftentimes they are going to choose to maintain their comfort as anyone would because their comfort and leisure kind of trumps everything.
Yes.
Which made sense. Made sense.
Yeah.
I could see it making sense when men were the sole provider.
Right.
You know, he's burning the midnight oil. He's making sure the lights are on. He's, you know, so the least I can do, quote unquote, is to make sure the house is taken care of.
And then that's the work.
And that's the work.
That's my
exactly.
job. So like it is what it is. Yeah.
But when I'm now working a 9 to 5.
No. And you depend on it. Like you've been
and you
saying.
Depend. Yeah.
And you depend on that to run this household that we both share. Yeah.
What's wrong with us now discussing if that system is fair?
Yeah. Right. Right.
And again, every relationship to each their own. My 50-50 quote unquote dynamic with Nate is not going to work for every household. But I think it's important that we can talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I just don't understand how we can have seen so much change in the workplace. But we are not seeing change at all in the household.
Yeah. And we've changed the expectation of women, right? Women have rose to the occasion in a way that we feel that men simply cannot. Which is part of the reason why we have the president incoming now. Because these men feel like they cannot rise to the occasion.
You mean men, like his supporters?
His supporters, yeah. Feel like they can't be a man. This guy is the ultimate man. Right?
He's my voice. Yeah.
And he's going to help me to be the ultimate man. He's going to put the power back in my hands. He's going to take the power away from these bitches who think they can have Roe versus Wade. Like all that, right? So this kind of like narrative is really, really important. when it comes to the expectations of people. How have we raised the expectations so much for women? How are women doing so much shit? And men, it's literally like, oh, I'm babysitting tonight. These are your kids, nigga. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, men are still walking around saying shit like that. That's really offensive and crazy and weird.
Yeah. Even just this question is annoying me. Like, can men change?
That is annoying too.
We're not even asking if women can change because the expectation is that we do. We're going to be flexible. We're going to adapt. We're going to bend over back to make sure everything is, handled in whatever way that means for your family or dynamic. But even just to ask if a man can change, it's like, I got to think about that. Is he going to, can he? I don't know.
Yeah, we can write a whole episode about it.
A whole episode on that. It's very annoying.
What do you think of the phrase happy wife, happy life? And how it relates to this.
I do think there is some truth to that statement. But it is also men. Nate and I talked about this recently because I said it to him like in jest, but I was being half serious. I was like, happy wife, happy life. Like, I'm going to not bother the shit out of you for the next week if you make me happy on this thing. And now he's like also more chill because I'm happy. So I do see truth in that statement. What do you think? Is it a statement that like bothers you? Because I could see how it can be bothersome in a way.
Not at all. I think it is 1,000% true.
Okay.
Mom's having a bad day. Everybody's having a bad fucking day.
That's true.
That's true, right? Like, I can remember when my mom was not feeling good. Like, I can remember when my mom didn't show up. And this is even, I really thought about this deeply when Adele's My Little Love came out. And she left that voicemail to her friend talking about how she was having a panic attack and it was 4:00 in the morning. That was the only time she had to have a panic attack because she's officially now a single mom.
Oh, okay.
And she's Adele.
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
So I thought a lot about that happy wife, happy life sentence. It's so true. And it is really, really, really important for that household to run well, for your wife to be happy, whether she's the breadwinner or not.
Or not. Yeah. Super true.
Yep. Not that if your husband's unhappy that everybody else is like ignoring him.
No.
Right? That's not true. But it's guaranteed. I'm pretty sure it's 100% of the time. If your
when
wife
mom is down and out, it's something's awry. Something feels amiss in the house.
Yep.
So true. Yeah.
And things are getting missed. And responsibilities are getting like blown over. And I think so.
Things falling through the crack. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. Now, Charlotte says women are more adaptable. And as much as I just said, I think this is like a made up, there's these made up narratives that women are just good at this, good at that. I do think that is true. I think we're better at adapting because we've been forced to be adaptable.
Yep.
Because the rules are never really bent in our favor.
Yeah.
We have to get accustomed to bending. We're living in a world that's kind of by design centered around men and their needs and their comfort. And so out of survival, we've had to become more adaptable.
Right.
I don't think biologically we are more adaptable. I think it's like a survival skill, an evolutionary skill, maybe. And it also makes me think of the whole like weaponizing incompetence thing. We all, men and women, have been complicit in this system of allowing men to believe that they're not good at certain things and we're just better at it, or I'll just do it because I could do it better anyways. But it's been a case of survival versus like what Charlotte is like, we're just better at it. It's like we've had to become better at it in a sense.
Yeah.
You think the same?
I think that women don't really have the choice, as you said, to not be adaptable and to stand like a rock like a lot of men do. I think a lot of men, I'm thinking now, even anybody who is a Bravo fan can remember way back in the day, Real Housewives of New Jersey. We had Joe, Teresa's brother, and Melissa. Melissa was a actual, for real housewife for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
And then she just wanted to own a store.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to own a little boutique.
Oh my God, what was the name of it?
Envy.
Yeah.
She wanted to own a little boutique, sell her little clothes, do her little thing, do a little like fashion show Paramus or whatever the fuck. Mm-hmm. She's not trying to be Mara Hoffman, okay? Mm-hmm. She's not trying to be Christian Dior. She's trying to own a little store.
Yeah.
He had a meltdown for seasons.
What?
Revolving around this.
I think I do remember those early seasons. He was not supportive at all.
Not at all. Yeah. Which reflected on their daughter.
Oh, how?
Like their daughter was watching all this, right? And was Team Melissa.
Oh, okay.
Team Melissa was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Mom can't work.
Yeah.
Aren't y'all working right now? Like, what is this? Like, what? She was very adamant about that. Even when they were started doing sponsorships and commercials. She's like, but Mom is working. What are you talking about? Yeah. And for him to straight up disrespect her for years over this little store was actually like pretty fascinating to watch, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I say all that to say, he didn't adapt for the longest time.
He just couldn't.
And all she wanted to do was have a store. And that threatened his manhood. Like, that is something, maybe it's even bigger than just, or maybe this is, excuse me, let me not say that. I think it's reflective of how powerful societal norms are. That this man could not adapt for years. They had moved houses. Their kids had gone to different schools. Melissa knew everybody's sports, the teams, the this, the that. Your sister's fucking crazy. I got to film this goddamn show. I got to get another nose job. I got to prove I'm not a stripper. Like, she got to do all this shit. And he can't even let her adapt to letting her own that the store. Yeah. And a lot of men use that. I don't know what that's called. Therapists, please put down below. When they stonewall and they're like, I don't know how to do it. I don't know. Well, I don't know anything. Well, I don't want to. And they'd rather like sit there in a hunger strike than cook. You know what I mean? Like, they'd rather sit there and starve.
Oh my God.
Or they'd rather sit in filth than clean. I don't know what that's called. Please help me.
Isn't that weaponizing incompetence?
I guess so.
Not exactly it.
I guess it is, but it's also
sitting in your own filth because you claim you don't know how to clean. Like,
I guess so.
Crazy.
I guess so. Yeah. But a lot of men do it.
I think also I wonder with Joe. What's his name? Joe? Not Joe. Joe. If he would also say he signed up for a housewife.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
That's what he was saying. And so now here she is evolving and changing and wanting to have her own little passion of herself. And he's just like, I didn't sign up for this.
Yep.
So we can't change. You can't expect me to change type of thing.
Yep.
And just how unfair that is to not leave any room for your wife, your life partner, you're an individual human that is growing and changing and wanting different things for herself. Maybe her kids are older now. She doesn't have to be at home all the time, you know?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And even that, he just can't do it.
Nope.
Can't do it.
Even just because he doesn't feel like it.
That's what I'm saying. Even if seeing her happier and more fulfilled would do something for her, it's not what y'all agreed on. Can't do it. It makes me think of Kyle and Amanda on Summer House.
Oh my God.
You see now they have a new line of drinks.
What are they called?
Like
Amanda's?
THC. No, it's like another Loverboy strain, but it's THC infused drinks. So we can keep building your dream all we want, but I can't have my one little project.
Because where's Amanda's bikinis?
I think she did like a collab with somebody.
Okay.
Like like a little brand collection or something.
Great.
I think I saw that like months ago, but
but it was a struggle.
Think of that.
It was a struggle.
It was a struggle to get him to, because in his head, I did not sign up for you to work. I did not sign up for you to work on anything else but this company. And where is the grace for your life partner evolving? Yeah. And where's your desire to want to see them happy? And isn't part of that, because they're your life partner, you may be adapting and changing a little bit?
If you run a company, you can adapt and change. So let's stop acting like you don't know what's going to happen if Amanda stops working. Let's not, right?
Right. Because we're never asking her if it's okay if you open up another line of drinks. Yeah. It's just assumed Amanda's going to do what she needs to do to bend over backward to make it happen. But she has to literally ask you for permission, damn near.
Yeah, she does.
Her and, what's her name, Melissa, to do one little thing for themselves. But it's just that the expectation. Women, we just bend. Yeah. It just is what it is. Yeah. For men, they get the choice and they get to have an opinion. They get to decide. Like all these things.
Unparalleled timelines as well.
Oh my God.
Could take them years.
Right.
We have to decide right now after we ask the question. Yes or no.
You doing it or not?
Yep.
But we've just been so accustomed to being flexible that it seems second nature to us. But it's really, it's survival. We've had to be this way because we're up against another species. The other gender just won't bend. So.
I know. And society is on their side. They've never bended. So they're like, I don't know how to do that. Well, I don't know how. Here we are. Now we're back. I don't know how.
I don't know how. Yeah. Oh my God. Now, Miranda and Steve are struggling.
Yes. I wanted to talk about this as well. Yes.
Yeah. Mostly Miranda.
Yeah.
She has a set routine. This is like most women who are dating in their 30s. Like you've built a life that you're very happy with and proud with. Yeah. Proud of and like very set in stone. You have your routines and you're just, you're disciplined in certain ways. And now somebody's coming into your life and it's like, it's all getting kind of awry. But where it's annoying for Miranda is she feels like the expectation is on her. Yeah. To switch things up and she doesn't find that fair. Where do you side on the Miranda Steve, what they're going through and who's just like, who's it on to bend a little bit?
Yeah. For the first time ever, I'm on Team Miranda.
Okay. Same.
You knew you were getting with a high functioning person, Steve. You were getting with a lawyer who owns her apartment.
Yeah.
And you expect her to shift around her entire schedule because you want to fuck in the morning? Sir. That is a wild expectation to have. Yeah. And then you get mad because when she wants to have sex at night, you fell asleep and now you gotta like call. I think that whole fight, the impetus behind that whole fight was saying that she's a lawyer, which was in turn shaming him for being a bartender.
Okay.
Because she threw it back in his face and some hyper intellectualism talking about, well, I'm a lawyer, I have to go to sleep.
Right. Not the approach.
No.
I don't think. Yeah.
No. Again, she's like being very mean. And that, and also what are the three things that you can't have? Oh, contempt. She's showing a little bit of contempt there.
Yeah.
As if a bartender doesn't get tired. Are you fucking crazy?
Right. We literally see him knock out.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you get with somebody who's high functioning like this, and I'm guilty of this too, you have to really kind of go with them because they have a very specific way they set up a great life for themselves. For you to take a little tour into that life won't kill you.
Yeah, I think for that, I mean, theirs is so extreme. They opposite schedules is just so tough that like it's really hard to ask either one of them. But I do side more with Miranda because I think Steve's career is just more flexible, so he should be the one bending. I'd say like now, even before Nate, Sonic the Hedgehog, the dude I was dating like, before Nate. He worked a lot. We were dating, quote unquote, for like, I would say like 3 months, but it was because the dates were so spread out because he was working OD. So I would bend a lot to his schedule to make dates work and fit in. Not that I wasn't busy too, but it was easier for me because my schedule was more just flexible, I guess. Yeah. And so it was just expected that I would be the one. And I didn't mind because I understood that as well. Even now between me and Nate, my schedule, we work for ourselves. So we set our own schedule. So I have more free time to handle things like, we just moved to the house. We have delivery men coming, repair people coming. Like I've been able, all right, let me move this with Justine because I can move it with one person versus him moving it with his whole team or whatever. So I'm just more of the favor of like whoever has the more flexible schedule just should be the one to lean into that flexibility.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's that simple. Like, I don't think Miranda even had to go there with the whole, well, I'm a lawyer, da 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 da. That has nothing to do with income, has nothing to do, it just has to do with your schedule is just so much more set in stone that I think it was ridiculous for Steve to be like, let's just hang out in bed all day. I got work to do, nigga. I got to be in the office by a certain time.
And
like,
you are in my house.
That too. Stay if you want, but I gotta go.
I gotta go. What is wrong with you? This is why people get on Steve online. People like really get on that Steve is terrible. But
oh no,
know, yeah,
Steve is terrible.
People hate on Steve a lot because they think that he's a homosexual.
A homosexual? Hobosexual. Okay.
Because he does give that energy, right?
Do we ever see his apartment?
No, we don't.
He's just crashing after his shift wherever somebody will take him.
I think so. Yeah. Which doesn't say he doesn't have an apartment. Like, I'm sure he does. But yeah, this is why people hate on him, because he comes into her life and is like, no, relax. Yeah, relax. Yeah. And she's like, all this stuff depends on me.
Right.
And I think too, even for a straight man looking at a single woman, they're like, oh, you don't have that much to do because you don't have kids.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they can see it.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't have that much responsibility because they don't even see you as a career-minded person who has things to do for a career that you have to accomplish at a certain time.
Yeah.
Even that they might not take seriously.
Right. Yeah, I found it interesting. Like this struggle for Miranda, because she's like, she felt the push for her, the woman, to just change and adapt.
Yeah.
And she's like, this is just not fair, right? Like, this is obvious that I have the more stringent schedule. It should be him, right? But both of them were kind of socialized into just, well, it's just Miranda. She's the woman, so she's going to figure it out. And I love that she kind of put a pause on that, like, no, it's not. We're not just doing it just because that's the way it's been done. You need to bend to me, which is why I was even more annoyed when the episode ends on her bending to him. Like, I really hated that. Last question I have. Back to Big and Carrie. Big rolls on top of Carrie in bed. He won't give her a key. They've been together for over a year. He looks at other women in the street. No shame. Like, and throughout all of this, like, we obviously see these as like red flag after red flag after red flag after red flag. Carrie is also noticing them, but she doesn't say a peep. Big, she's now mad, is showing up like business as usual. Nothing's changed. Because in his head, everything's fine.
Yeah.
Is this... Yeah. Who are we? I mean, they're both at fault for this, but like, what do we do with Carrie and this like lack of communicating? Because Big, to some extent, doesn't know, which is annoying, of course. She's not communicating her needs and desires at all.
Yeah. I think getting down to that non-communication is really the problem. I think she's not communicating because she's afraid he's going to drop her for somebody else that he looks at the street. Definitely. And that's why it's a problem. It's not a problem that he's not changing. Because as you said, he doesn't know. But like we know by the end of this episode, even when he does know, he ain't going to change. And the problem is she won't let him go because she's just afraid to be out in these streets. Or she's just afraid to be without him. Or she's just afraid that actually he will never change. And that actually she had no impact. And that this was actually for fucking nothing that she dated him.
Yeah.
And that she put in all this work, wrote all these damn columns secretly about this man. Brought him up in so many situations that were unnecessary. And now she's left with nothing. She's really afraid to be left with nothing.
Yeah. Like have nothing to show for all of this that she's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, I mean, Carrie, it's just so much you can learn from what not to do. I feel like the biggest thing with Carrie or with Big this round too is they kind of just picked up where they left off. Oh my God. There was no conversation between the two of them. There was no even Carrie just talking to him, talking at him. Here's what I need. Yeah. Here are my intentions. Right. Here's my expectations. Like her advocating for what she wants in this second go round. There was never that conversation. And so, you know, Big is just showing up smoking a cigar, everything's fine because everything is fine in his world. And Carrie has these wants and these desires, and we just don't see her speaking on them. And I feel like that's like the biggest lesson I get from watching Carrie is like, you have to advocate for yourself. You cannot assume because he likes you, he's going to want the best for you. He wants the best for him. So like a lot of I feel like she operates on a lot of assumptions. She's definitely very fear-based. She fears saying any of this because, as you said, he's going to drop her like a hot potato and go with the next girl. But it just shows you how important it is to not go into dating from a fear scarcity perspective, and particularly pick back up with somebody you're doing round 2 with and set no expectations, no intention, not even a conversation about what went wrong last time and how we're going to do better this time.
Yeah.
So I think that's what is so infuriating for me with Carrie, where I want her to just do better by herself, is to use the voice that she has. Because clearly she writes. She has a lot of thoughts.
Exactly. Right.
But she doesn't ever say it out loud to him.
And girl, you pulled full-blown DV on this man. You punched him in the face in the middle of the night. And he's not leaving you after that.
I know.
He didn't kick you out or nothing. Girl, just say what you want.
Just say what you want. Man.
What that's literally the worst that could happen. So now we're over it. So now just like keep it. You know what I'm saying?
Just keep that same energy. Just let it all out. Yeah. Oh, man. Anything else, friend?
No, that was it. But I'm excited for our learned ones.
What did you learn this episode?
He's a smart guy.
I learned that Samantha's the only one who changed the man.
Oh, she sure did. He goes by Samantha now.
The oldest and the wisest was the only one who changed the man. And the one who she fights against the patriarchy in a very interesting way. That we see a lot of people fighting the patriarchy with that same kind of weapon now of trying to fight fire with fire.
Yeah.
And obviously it doesn't really work it works on a local level. It does not work on a global level.
Yeah.
But she is actually the only one who did indeed change the man this episode.
And Charlotte, I guess.
Kind Charlotte of like too, yeah.
Nudged him along to get the surgery done that he's probably been thinking about for a while. But yeah, props to Samantha. Yeah. That is true.
What about you, friend?
Yeah, I think what we kind of knew going in, like it's just hard to expect a man to change much. Yeah. You can certainly speak up for yourself. I think that's all we really can do in our own little micro relationship, micro worlds in our own relationships. But even on a macro level, as women generally, more globally, I guess, is continuing to speak up, continuing to demand what we need, continuing to point out ways in which, things have changed for the benefit of men, but not for us. And hopefully they listen and see. I don't know. I think it's unfortunately one of those, like, it is what it is situations.
No, it really is. How crazy.
I know. But I think the battle is really fought like in your own individual relationships.
Absolutely. Yes. As most advocacy work is
done
on an individual level. Yeah.
Because it's just such a bigger societal thing of like till the dawn of time, women have been second class, and so our needs, our desires, our comforts become secondary.
Yeah.
So to now flip the switch and just expect men to even want to change for certain, like, why would they want to why do they want to do something not to their benefit? Like, I understand.
I've asked this question so many times on this podcast. What do we do? Like, why are we doing this? Men will get divorced. Men will be blindsided in divorce before they'll learn a lesson. I think that's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah. I know. All we could do is in our own little mini worlds, just remember we have a voice. We don't have to just keep doing things because they were done that way. You don't have to bend because, I'm more adaptable. It's fine. No, we can push back. We can challenge. And we can expect better and different.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's all we can do, really. Let us know what y'all think.
Please.
Sound off in the comments. Can you change a man? Have you changed a man like in a meaningful way that we would be surprised to hear? I'd be so curious. Even what that means when people say, I changed a man. Like, aside from wardrobe, are there ways where you really like changed a man?
A person? I shifted somebody away from homophobia. I have done that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you can change people's mindsets. You can open people up to different schools of thinking or just like perspectives or whatever.
Yeah.
I think even with Nate in ways like he's Nate is very disciplined. You know, if he had it his way, he'd be up at 6, sleep at 10, get his 8 hours, get his workout in every day. Just super disciplined, almost to a fault sometimes. But I think with being with me, he's learned to kind of like relax a little bit. You know, I love to indulge. I smoke a lot.
Natasha is the best to indulge with. That's why you're the best to go to New Orleans with.
I know.
Oh my God, it's so fun in Vegas. Oh my God.
But if you have a health goal of any sort you're trying to reach, don't hang out with me. Because we're going to be eating everything. We're going to be smoking everything. We're going to be spending all of our money. Like, but I'm good to have around in terms of a balance.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Which I think I've definitely, I can't even see Nate with somebody like him because the two of them will just be like.
So boring.
Yeah, just like a super couple, like doing like Iron Mans and shit. I think my balance in the same way that he's balanced me. He's changed me in ways of being more protective of my sleep, more mindful of my health. So there are ways that you can, you know, influence another person. You know?
Yeah.
So let us know what y'all are doing. Rate, review, subscribe. We'll be back on Thursday for the ultimatum.
The ultimatum.
Wrapping it up.
See you then.
See you then. Bye.